Owl, move! This guy on the internet just insulted my honor. I have to correct this. My heart is racing. I'm about to explode.
You are reacting exactly the way he wants you to, Hoodie. You are a remote-controlled robot, and he just pressed the anger button.
Remote controlled? I'm just defending myself.
No, you're feeding him. You're giving him your most valuable energy for free. If you continue like this, you're a slave to your impulses. Do you want to learn how to become psychologically invincible, so calm that it literally confuses others?
Yes, please, before I throw my phone out the window.
Anger is a decision. Here is the first shocking truth. Anger is a decision. Neurologically speaking, stress chemicals that create anger have a half-life of exactly 90 seconds. After a minute and a half, they are flushed from your system. If you are still angry after 10 minutes, it's only because you are replaying the story in your head over and over again. You are essentially constantly adding firewood to a flame that could have been extinguished long ago. You are actively continuing to feed the monster. But why do we feel so powerless against our trigger buttons?
Button pusher myth. You know the saying, he knows exactly which buttons he has to push with me. But the truth is, no one can push buttons that you don't give them. These buttons are in reality unhealed wounds or violated values from your past. If a sarcastic comment from your boss triggers you, it only shows you where you still need healing. Perhaps it subconsciously reminds you of a critical parent or a teacher from past school days. As soon as you actively decide against being a remote control for others, you become the super administrator of your own state, and thus also of your feelings. To master this step, it is helpful if you understand the following. The secondary emotion revelation. It is surprising. Anger is almost never the real emotion. Anger is the bodyguard of your heart, meaning of your deeper feelings. It appears to protect you from shame, fear, or loneliness. When your partner forgets your anniversary and you explode because of it, you are fundamentally not angry. You are hurt because you don't feel important. Anyone who recognizes the real emotion under the anger deprives the emotional bodyguard named anger of its basis. Allowing vulnerability heals. Anger, on the other hand, only creates distance. Now you ask yourself, okay, I understood that, but how do I react concretely at the moment of the attack? This is where psychological professional techniques come into play. The first one is the gray rock method. Toxic people, narcissists, and provocateurs are energy vampires. They look for trigger buttons in their fellow human beings that trigger a reaction, whether positive or negative. Energy vampires need drama as food. If you defend yourself or explain, you feed them. But if you react like a gray rock, boring, neutral, unmoved, they lose interest. They literally break their teeth. A short, okay, a neutral, interesting perspective, or a simple, I heard you, without any recognizable emotion is your strongest weapon. You refuse to participate in a game that is only designed to suck you out emotionally. Imagine you are like Wi-Fi. If others don't have the password, they can't connect with you and suck out your energy. But what if emotions are raging inside you and you threaten to burst with anger? Then you use the choice point. Between the trigger, meaning the insult, and your reaction lies a tiny period of time. In these seconds or minutes lies your freedom of decision. Most people live in immediate stimulus-response automatism, but you can learn to stretch this period of time. Activate your observer self. Instead of saying, I am angry, you say, I am observing right now how anger rises in me. This tiny linguistic difference creates distance. You turn from the storm itself into the meteorologist who observes the storm without being blown away by it. Another powerful lever is the reframe revolution. What if difficult people are not obstacles, but your personal mental trainers? Your micromanaging boss? He trains your patience muscle. Your passive-aggressive neighbor, he helps you sharpen your boundary-setting skills. Suddenly, you are no longer a victim, but a student at the University of Life. Every provocation becomes a training unit to increase your emotional level. But caution, invincibility does not mean letting everything pass over you passively. On the contrary, I will now show you individual steps on how to become the super administrator of your emotions again.
Boundary blueprint. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out, but gates where you are the gatekeeper. A healthy boundary sounds like this. I understand that you are frustrated, but I do not react to yelling. We can talk when you are calmer. That is not aggressive, but self-determined. You protect your energy supply so that you don't burn out. If a situation becomes too heated, use the timeout protocol. That is not running away, but a strategic retreat. You give your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, time to come back online before you say something you later regret. To become immune in the long term, you must create your trigger map. Your emotional trigger traps are not random. They follow patterns. Keep a triggered journal for 1 week. Who was involved? What exactly was said? What did it remind you of? If you know the trigger trap, you can go around it instead of stumbling right into it. Finally, there is the way of compassionate distance. You can love or respect someone without taking their drama home with you. You are like a lifeguard. You throw them the life ring, but you don't jump into the water to drown together with them. And never forget the story stopper. You don't experience reality itself, but your story about reality. If your boss writes a short email, you can choose the story. He hates me, fear, or he just has a lot to do, neutrality. You are the editor of your inner film. True psychological power does not mean having no emotions anymore, Hoody. It means possessing the power over your reaction. If you stop delivering a performance for other people's puppet theater, you win your freedom back. You become the gray rock, solid, unmoved, and absolutely unbeatably calm.
You know what, Owl? Previously, I would have now formulated a response for 3 hours that destroys him. But today, my time is simply too valuable for that.
Welcome to the Club of the Invincibles, Hoody. You just passed the 90-second test.
And you out there, which type of person triggers you the most? Your boss, the mother-in-law, or the anonymous internet troll?
If you want to learn how to keep optimizing your emotional operating system, leave a subscription. It is the best training for your psychological fitness.
Stay stable, stay invincible. See you in the next deep dive.